For those who follow the Ontario Hockey League, we've been kind of spoiled this year with the amount of talent represented on all 20 OHL teams this year, and that talent being recognized by NHL Central Scouting. Today, they released their mid-season rankings, and for this year, there hasn't really been a clear-cut number one who would take top spot at the NHL entry draft in June. For a lot of the season, James Hagens from Boston College was seen as maybe the player who will go number one. But there are three OHLers who have a pretty solid argument. And now NHL Central Scouting is listing Matthew Schaefer of the Erie Otters as the top prospect from North America. So a big achievement here for Matthew Schaefer. Of course, he's out of the Otters lineup at the moment due to a broken collarbone. He suffered that injury while representing Team Canada at the World Junior Hockey Championships. But for Schaefer, a defenseman that has a great mobility, an amazing shot, and solid defensively too in his own zone. All-around solid defenseman, and he could become the first prospect selected first overall since the 2021 NHL entry draft when it was Owen Power who was selected by the Buffalo Sabres. So obviously a lot can change between now and June, but I think for this draft and this ranking kind of shows it, we won't know who number one will be right up until draft day. It all depends on who wins the draft lottery and what that team is looking for, because Hagens, from all I've been hearing, a very solid forward option for an NHL club. And then you can't go wrong with number three, Michael Manza in the Central Scouting list for North American skaters. He, of course, leading the Ontario Hockey League in points and goals. And then Porter Martone, a Matthew Tkachuk style of player, playing for the Brampton Steelheads. He's right now fourth on NHL Central Scouting's mid-season report. So the OHL, well represented, 3 out of the 4 top players coming from the Ontario Hockey League. And then when you look at the first round projections, there's 11 OHL players listed. So going down the list, you have Jake O'Brien from the Brantford Bulldogs. He's at the number 8 spot. After that, Malcolm Spence at number 14 from the Erie Otters. Kayshawn Aitchison of the Barrie Colts. He's made the list at number 15. Jack Nesbitt of the Windsor Spitfires comes in at number 16. We also have Brady Martin of the Sioux Greyhounds at 17. And then you don't have to go too much further down to find Simon Wang of the Oshawa Generals. He's right now ranked at number 23 for North American skaters. And then Cameron Reed at number 27 from the Kitchener Rangers. So the OHL well represented on the midseason ranking from NHL Central Scouting. And it's going to be a draft that's going to be fascinating to follow because a lot can happen between now and the 2025 NHL draft. Of course, with the playoffs, the Memorial Cup. So it's going to be it's going to be a fun run. And it's great to see the OHL well represented. We even saw that the World Juniors with Team Canada, where 16 OHLers were invited to try out for Team Canada at the World Juniors. So there's a lot of depth right now coming out of the OHL. So you can't go wrong if you go to any Ontario Hockey League game. You're going to see some great talent represented out on the ice. Now, for the goaltenders, at the start of the regular season, Jack Ivankovic was seen as the top North American goaltender. But from Prince George, Joshua Ravensbergen, he has taken over that top spot, followed by Alexei Medvedev of the London Knights. So he is now the top OHL goaltender when it comes to NHL Central Scouting's midseason report from North America. Jack Ivankovic, fallen a bit. He's now sitting 5th for North American skaters. And the only other OHL representative in the top 10, Ben Hrebeck of the Barrie Colts. And of course, at the start of the regular season, there was question marks for backup goaltending in Barrie. But Ben Hrebeck, right now, the top save percentage in the OHL, he has been climbing the rankings steadily. So it's great to see him being recognized on the midterm rankings from NHL Central Scouting. So you can find the whole list. NHL.com has posted it. They go through all the rounds. I don't really want to have this video go on forever and just listing off all those players, but you can find it there. We do have another couple of news items to talk about. Of course, the big news yesterday was that Michael Andlauer has announced that he's selling the Brantford Bulldogs to Zach Hyman and the Hyman family. And a lot of questions, though, remain. What about the Belleville Senators? Because for Andlauer, he says he sold the Bulldogs because he wants to spend more time focusing on the Ottawa Senators and the farm team. But a report has come out. He did an interview saying that he has no intentions of relocating the Belleville Senators to Hamilton. And I know that's been a lot of speculation. The Oakville group right now renovating the First Ontario Center. Back in the fall, we heard that there was speculation that an announcement could be made in January. And with the sale of the Brantford Bulldogs, we're kind of, connecting the dots here and wondering, will the Belleville Senators be the next announcement that they'll be relocating to Hamilton? But Michael Andlauer putting some water on that fire right now and saying that's not the case. He actually wants to spend more time in Belleville and try and really grow the team in that market. I know there's a lot of OHL fans who want to see the Belleville Bulls return, but at this point, that seems unlikely for at least the next couple of years at least. When you look at the numbers, the Belleville Senators, they do have the second lowest attendance average in the American Hockey League. It's also one of the smallest markets for the American Hockey League as well. So Michael Andlauer, give him credit. He is very passionate about his hockey teams, and he wants to be able to see the American Hockey League succeed in the city of Belleville. But I just wanted to put that out there that he has come out and said he does not intend on relocating the Belleville Senators to Hamilton. He wants to work with Belleville to try and improve things there. And the last item to talk about, I wanted to talk about a signing. Matthew Manza has signed an OHL scholarship and development agreement with the Sarnia Sting. Now, remember, Manza was acquired ahead of the OHL trade deadline from the Kingston Frontenacs. Sarnia, they gave up a second-round pick and a conditional pick to bring Manza in, and now he was committed to go NCAA with the Ohio State University. But with the NCAA vote, that means CHL players can now go on to Division I schools. So for Manza, he's ready to join the Sarnia Sting. He's expected to be in the lineup this weekend when the Sting take on the Sudbury Wolves. And he's actually had a pretty good career. He was named OJHL Rookie of the Year last season with the Toronto Patriots. He had 26 goals, 23 assists in 49 games of work. And earlier this year, he was playing over in the BCHL with the Chilliwack Chiefs. He appeared in 12 games there. But of course, with the announcement of the NCAA vote, a lot of players have been coming back over to Ontario from the BCHL. And Matthew Manza, he's the latest. And he's joining a Sarnia Sting team that's been playing some really good hockey of late. 7-3 is their record over their last 10 games. So it's going to be interesting to see how Manza can fit in with this lineup. And it's just another young piece to this group as they look to the future. So those are the news items for today. And I just wanted to touch on some of this, especially the midterm rankings, as it's always exciting just to see how the players are fitting as we prepare for the 2025 NHL entry draft. So that's how I see it from the booth. Let me know in the comments section down below your thoughts on these news items. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Talk to you soon.